We're at Voxxed Days Bristol with Adam, who's speaking about Game On, which is an open source tool that teaches people how to develop microservices. So what are the core aims of Game On?
Okay, so I mean, Game On, as you said, is an open source project. And the idea is that a lot of people want to learn about microservices, want to do microservices. But the problem is that you go away, you read some books, you do some Googling, you check things out, and you actually try and do it. But you're very often left with just a very simple hello world example or an application that's only a single service. And what Game On wants to do is give you an actual real working microservices environment that you can come along. You can start with very simple, almost a hello world type concept, where you get stuck in and actually get into the microservices framework and architecture. But then you can fast track your way into sort of getting into more of the issues that are around microservices, such as things like eventual consistency and aspects like that. And it's based around a text adventure.
Yeah.
So it's quite an easy thing for people to get hold of as an idea. I mean, it's a really good way of sort of thinking about microservices. Most people can think of and envisage a room as a service. So there's one thing, does one thing well, and that's your microservice. And now you can make your room do things, but you do it as part of the microservices framework.
So you're walking, as the game player, you're walking into a room and having an experience and going on to another room?
Yes, so as a player, you're effectively transitioning through microservices we own as the sort of, we call it the infrastructure and the platform. And then we call out to your rooms and we move players into your room for you. So then you have control and you can interact with the player. But it means you then have to address issues like, okay, what happens if that player logs in from my phone and from a laptop at the same time? And that translates into a microservice where, you've got people coming in, the same user, from different directions, different entry points. How do you actually work out that's the same user? So the game has got adventures, we call them advanced adventures in the game, that take you through these harder problems. So we don't try and hide them, but what we want to do is fast track you into the game world, get you up and running, get you started, and then say, okay, now open up and what would you like to do? What things would you like to learn about?
So I'm guessing it has some core services that you can then expand on in order to learn as you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the whole point is you can dip in and out. So if you just really want to be a microservice, try out a simple microservice, you can stay at the room level. You can write your room, you can plug it in. And the thing is, because it plugs into a real life system, you can do it wherever you want. You don't need to try and stand up a big infrastructure in your own network or whatever. You can use ours. But then, as you say, people can then transition to learning about, say, the authorization service. So we're showing you how to do social sign-on. So everyone wants to log in with Google or Facebook. I mean, once you go microservice, what used to be your enterprise registry for people, usernames and what people are allowed to do, has gone away. Now it's almost like Facebook and Google are the authenticators in the internet.
Yeah.
And if you log in with that, everyone wants to log in with their Facebook ID. They don't want to register an account here, an account there. So our auth module, for example, shows you how we actually do the coding behind that. So again, it comes out of that principle. Lots of people tell you that's what they want. You'll find articles describing the flow.
Yeah.
We'll share with you the code that actually makes that happen.
That sounds really useful.
It is. I mean, it gives the Java developer the ability to actually see the code that makes these things work. Developers want code, right?
Yeah.
They don't want anything else. They don't want pictures. They like pictures to start with, but at the end of the day, it's the code that's going to make something happen. And you want to see a non-trivial example of working code. And that's what we've got in Game On. So we have the auth service. We have a map service, which talks to our CouchDB when it's running locally, or talks to our cloud service when it's running live. So again, shows you how to do the data interactions, persisting the storage, but also bringing in microservice things like reading your config from the environment, for example, breaking those habits of, if you're coming from a monolithic world, of being able to, always thinking, oh, my data is in my file system and that's attached to me. It doesn't work when you take your microservice and push it up into the cloud, for example. Yeah. So you start looking at where those pain points are going to be, and we show you how to actually effectively, as I say, read config from the environment. We have a sweep service. So this is our look at what is serverless. So serverless is quite a cool thing that people want to learn about. It is very trendy right now. I mean, and so what we do with sweep is we show you how to use. It's based on our OpenWhisk technology, but the concept and what we want to share with you is the concept of serverless. So what we do with sweep is we actually go around on a timed basis and actually ping the rooms. So we'll say, are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? because we're letting people plug in and they'll stand something up, and after a while the room may disappear or develop a fault or something. So we use the sweep as a serverless mechanism by which we don't have a long-running process, but we want something to run. It's fast and quick and periodic. So it comes and goes, and it reports back and scores the rooms. And then it comes back, and if a room is, we call it a sick room. If the room is sick, we take it out the game.
Yep.
So we have to self-manage it, but we use serverless. So now there's an example in there of the serverless, and we have, we accept that, microservices aren't all in one language. It's a polyglot world. So again, GameOn has room examples in other languages such as Node, JavaScript, and Swift.
Oh, okay.
So then from there, you see, well, how do these actually communicate over to other microservices in other languages? And you start to realize and look at things like, oh, okay, it's agnostic API, it's REST. It doesn't matter what I'm running things in. So I now have freedom to pick the technology I want to pick from here. Now, whether that's based on that's what the team who's going to write the service knows how to write stuff in, or that technology or that approach is best practice for what we're trying to do. That gives you the freedom to do it, and we show how these things all interact within this framework of a text adventure game, but underneath looking what it takes to allow people to plug things in and to run all the services as well. So those are just a few of the core services. We do have everything. There is a Git book, so it's all open source. So all sources in GitHub. And there's a Git book that describes all the things in there as well, and the adventures you can undertake in the game.
There's definitely a huge nostalgic appeal behind the text adventure.
It's really, actually, the thing we also found out that's really interesting is that it forces creativity on you. Suddenly you haven't got some push buttons, you haven't got some other things to do, and you just with that text line. So for example, we wanted to get GameOn running in a room on a Raspberry Pi. So we did that. That's fine. That's relatively straightforward. But then we had a Pi cam that came with it, so we wanted to take pictures. But now, how do we do the pictures, and how do we get that into a text adventure? So what we do is we created another service that takes an image and creates it into ASCII art.
Oh, that's cool.
So now the ASCII art comes back in the room. So now you can go into the room with the picture room. When we have the camera wired up, wherever we are, you can take a picture, and it will come out in ASCII art on the screen.
I would love to see that.
It is really cool, and it's brilliant because that sort of interface forces creativity, but let us explore quickly grabbing and standing up another microservice and bring it into the thing. Now, obviously, we needed to build a pipeline and some other things that came with it, but it shows that quick pickup of other technology. And the picture room, so we've got a static, so both that and a more static version of a picture room, which has got some of our faces on there done as ASCII art. That's all in the GitHub repo as well. So you can see it.
Looking forward to playing with it.
Yeah, it's good fun.